Hi guys, welcome to the first video on the road. I'm currently at a campsite in Slovenia, and I thought since it's been a week since I left the Netherlands, it's a good time to tell you a little bit of what has been happening. The last days at home have been really weird. I'm a very organized person, and I had a list of all the things I was going to bring with me and things I had to do till the last second. I remember I was just mechanically following all the steps until suddenly that next steps became putting the gear on and taking off. It felt like I was caught off guard, like there was supposed to be more steps before that, but no, this was it. It felt so natural to get on the motorbike, just like any other time, that my mind couldn't comprehend this trip that I had dreamed and planned for so long was finally starting.
Voor de reis van Ietsje.
Doei!
Tot ziens hè. Doeg.
Let's go! Woo! I am scared, shitless, and excited. And holy fuck, there's so much. It is really nice not to crash the bike in the first 100 meters. My initial plan was to blast through Germany as quickly as possible because I had already seen it on multiple occasions, and I was more interested in the Alps for the nature and the Balkans for the novelty. Let's just say that the first day was immediately throwing a bunch of challenges at me, testing my ability to improvise and the readiness of my gear. Almost at my first border, and just dropped the bike for the first time ever in my life under that sign because I thought it was a good idea to park it there. Yep. Yeah, so that happened a second time about 20 minutes after that video was recorded, and this time I needed a guy to help me get it back up. Mira is a pretty big motorbike, and when it's fully loaded, lifting her is absolutely no joke. But that was nothing compared to what happened next. I was doing 140 kilometers an hour on the German Autobahn when I suddenly felt something off with Mira. I reached with my left hand, and to my shock I felt the left case was partially detached from the bike and dangling dangerously on the verge of falling over. Internally I freaked out. I remember looking in the mirrors and seeing a car dangerously close to me. If that case fell off, I could have easily caused a massive crash and maybe someone could have lost their life. I immediately put on the hazard lights and pulled over to the emergency lane where I clicked it back in the correct position. Nothing was broken. Up to this day, I don't know what caused the issue since I couldn't recreate it no matter what I tried. Immediately after I left the highway, I tied the top of the case to the frame in a way that if it were to ever happen again, the rope will hold it attached and prevent a disaster. Just as I was calming down and gaining confidence in my rope solution, it started raining really hard, for about 4 hours straight. Thankfully my gear held up pretty well. I didn't know it at the time, but this was just the start of some very wet days. I did a quick stop in Frankfurt for lunch, and because I was curious to see the downtown. It vaguely reminded me of Rotterdam for the type of buildings and the architecture, but I only stopped for a little bit before continuing south. Around this time I was having a lot of questions in my head about how I wanted to go about this trip. When do I stop to visit places, and when do I just continue? How often do I do groceries? Can I afford to eat out sometimes? I feel like I'm skipping a lot of beautiful places. Damn, the fuel is costing quite a bit. Do I need to book camping sites in advance? These were some of the many questions playing in my head that I still hadn't fully figured out. But I was starting to get more comfortable with it. What made all these doubts more complicated was the fact that in the evening it started raining a lot, and continuously. The forecast promised at least 3 or 4 more days of rain combined with very low temperatures, sometimes barely above freezing. This really limited my ability to move around and get through Germany as quickly as I wanted to. So I'm inside my tent. As you can see, it's been raining since 2 a.m. last night, which is actually really cozy inside the tent. But now I need to pack stuff in the cases, and I'm not sure how to do it because I have all my stuff lined up. Most things are here, but how do I put them? And Mira's like right next to me, so close. Problem is, how do I put everything inside a case while it's raining? Do I bring the case in here? Because I think the tent then will just remain wet no matter what. But I don't know, problems. We'll figure it out. There's gonna be a way for sure. So it's actually really not as bad as I thought, because I can sort of like put the case behind the rainproof cover of the tent, and I can just easily transfer stuff in and then close it off, load it on Mira. So this actually works way better than I thought. I did try to continue a little further south, but eventually my socks were soaked in cold water and my visor was completely fogged up. The rain didn't show signs of stopping, but I took it as a good chance to unwind, cook some good food and go for a little walk in the occasional break of the weather. I just went for a quick walk into the forest. I just wanted to see what was around and I found this path. Really nice little stream going around, but then I turned the corner and I see that. Whoa! That is a really beautiful waterfall. Good morning, everyone. We're currently doing the first oil top-up that I've ever done on Mira. I know this is probably something I should have done back home, but I didn't before I started. And I realized that the engine oil is a little low. So there's a first time for everything. I bought some engine oil at the gas station. Of course, like a true professional, I googled which engine oil I should buy right as I was at the gas station, but if it works, it works. But I don't have a funnel, and I fear this might turn into a big mess, so I'm gonna have to do it very slowly. Let's just start adding and see what happens. It actually doesn't seem that hard. As I got into Austria, the rain and cold picked up again, but now I was better prepared, with rain covers for my boots, and this time I could push through the rain longer than in the past days. To be honest, I think I just got myself mentally ready for it and accepted that this was the way it was going to be for a while. So much for choosing to travel in May because I thought the weather was better. By the time I got to the campsite in the evening, I had dropped Mia for the third time and had completely gotten accustomed to the rain, trying to just find ways to deal with it, like drying things under the only cover I could find at the campsite. It's currently really cold. We're in Austria, but we don't mind because it's finally stopped raining, which was the biggest problem so far. And I mean, I was just riding along the main route and then I looked down and I saw this little windy path. I was like, okay, let me go check it out. And I mean, this is the view at the turn. Just a few hours after that, I followed Google Maps on one of the most beautiful roads I've rode so far. The road of the Felbertauer Tunnel, that was really hard to pronounce, and I probably did it wrong, is an absolute spectacle. It climbs up through the clouds and the peaks of the Austrian Alps, winding around waterfalls, tunnels, trees, and the leftover snow of the recent winter. I love the fact that the road was mainly empty, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that I was in awe at every single turn. So that marked the end of my last full day in Austria. I'm currently in Slovenia and I'm dealing with some consequences of my own actions, of which I'll tell you about in the next video. Moving forward, I don't think I will be doing vlogs of every single country and every single day and every single experience, just because I want to keep the work manageable for me. But if you do want to know all the latest stories and what I'm up to, I suggest you click the Polar Steps link in the description. That is where I'm posting the most detailed stories. That's where I'm giving updates almost every day, and including photos and videos of what's been happening. That's it for this time. I hope you liked the episode, and I'll see you soon for the next one. Ciao!